Well, hello again, and I have just been kind of thinking through like what questions do I get asked from buyers and sellers, or just people in the community. And so I just wanted to do like a couple of quick videos, just kind of going through some of those things that I answer or feel like is important for you guys. And so one of the first things that came to mind was, what do I do to get my house ready for sale? So the first time that I generally go meet with somebody, that's usually our first appointment, is just, hey, okay, so you want to sell your house. Okay, here, let me do a walkthrough, and here are some recommendations that I have on what you should do to get it ready to show in its best light. So I've actually narrowed that down to kind of 3 things I feel like that I tell people a lot, and I can actually go through and do that in more detail, but just kind of give you guys the highlight reel, maybe even throw a bonus thing in there. So the first thing that I recommend to people, and it seems really kind of silly to say it out loud, but the first thing is to clean your house. And you're like, Amber, I clean my house all the time. Yes. And that means baseboards, ceiling fans, wipe the walls down, rid your home as best you can of any smells, whether that's pets, which you can see mine back there, cooking smells, right, anything like that. And so you want to deep clean your house, and not just inside but outside too. Rake up all the leaves. Maybe, I don't know if you need to power wash it. In West Texas, it's dry and it's dusty, and so maybe power washing the outside and the windows, maybe that is a good idea, right? But you just want to give your house a really good deep clean before you list it. So the second thing I generally recommend is to declutter and to depersonalize. And most real estate articles that you read that talk about, hey, getting your house ready, that's what they're going to tell you. And so what do I mean by depersonalize and declutter? If I'm a buyer and I walk into your house and I see pictures of your family or your life, I have a difficult time picturing what my life looks like in that house. And so anything like that that's deeply personalized, I would recommend getting rid of. So I don't know if you can really see it, but I actually have an OU pillow back here behind me, next to the dog. And so me being in West Texas and Lubbock, OU is not super popular here. And so I would probably go through and remove all my OU stuff, as sad as that makes me. So, but declutter, depersonalize. One rule of thumb that I've heard is remove 1/3 of your furniture. Now, if you're like me, I kind of am on the minimalist side, where I don't really have a lot of furniture or a lot of decorations, but go through and just remove that stuff that's maybe over personalized, and that's maybe a little bit cluttery. Clean off all the countertops, things like that. And then the third thing is, work with your agent on just making sure it's priced well. Okay, and that has more to do with your agent than it does to you, but those are probably the 3 most important things of, like, how do you put your best foot forward? Clean it, depersonalize it, declutter it, price it well. And you may have an idea in your head of, hey, like, this is how much I want to list it for, and that's cool. Share that with your agent, and then listen to the stats that they give you and let them tell you what the market says, whether the market agrees with that or not. And sometimes, if it's in a really hot market, you could potentially get that if it's a little bit over. And then some markets don't. It's not going to be able to get that. So work with them, work with your agent on that, on just kind of what they think is the best price. And then I think you're well on your way to getting, your home under contract quickly. The bonus thing that I would say, and I've read it, yes, to do it, and I've said, I've read no, not to do it. But one thing I do think is a good idea is to get a pre-listing inspection. And so your agent can give you a couple of names of inspectors that they work with, that clients have worked with in the past. But getting a pre-listing inspection would go in and look at all the mechanical systems in the house, and would alert you to any repairs that may need to be made that you don't already know about. Maybe you do know them. And I would recommend making as many of those repairs as possible, just because it'll save you time later, because a buyer is going to have their own inspection and they may ask for all of those things. And so if you provide a home inspection that says, hey, like, here's everything that the inspector found, and then here's all the repairs that we made, here's the receipt, it increases confidence for the buyer in what they're purchasing. So that would be the reason I would recommend it. I don't think it's going to cause the buyer to waive their right to inspect, but it could just increase that confidence. So, and it could also keep you from, potentially losing the buyer like after inspections. And you already know, and you can go ahead and make those repairs. So those are my 3 suggestions. And then of course the bonus one, and really just, make any obvious repairs. I mean, if you know that door just doesn't shut right, or, the faucet leaks, little things like that, make a huge difference in the eyes of a buyer. And so I would just encourage you guys to go ahead and do that as you guys get ready to list your house. So if you have more questions or want further information on any of these things, or want to see what your home is worth in today's market, give me a call. My phone number and email address is at the end of the video, and I would love to chat with you.